I think that was an interception.
Chiefs maintain possession, and Rob Ninkovich, they take advantage. How about that throw?
Surgical. That's a beautiful throw there across the field.
Wow,
that's impressive.
41-yard touchdown to Justin Watson. Chiefs get within 17-14. Then the huge moment in the game. Tied at 17 in the fourth quarter. That is Justin Herbert picked off by Jalen Watson, who's going to go back 99 yards. We spent the first 10 minutes of our program today showing you how the tight end Gerald Everett appeared to give up on the play. He was looking to come out of the game before the play because he was tired, tapping on the helmet. It didn't work out. It winds up being at a critical moment. Then on this play here where Everett is back in the action, it's Herbert. Ninko, he was down, and this looked bad.
Yeah, it looks like rib injury. I was surprised that this play actually did that to him, considering it didn't look like a very violent hit, but he was hurting after that.
No question. He came out for play, came back on the field, toughed it out for the rest of the night, and then it tied at 17. It's Herbert for Joshua Palmer for a touchdown. Chargers getting the score there, so they're down 27-24. Chargers then needed an onside kick to try and keep this one alive, and you'll see the ball is loose for just a moment, but not enough by that much. The Chiefs hang on. Could that bouncing ball be the difference at the end of the season in the AFC West? It's all just that close. And so we spent a lot of the beginning of our program today, Ryan Clark, talking about this game in the little picture, the moment with Gerald Everett and the performance of Patrick Mahomes. Now let's go big picture. The Buffalo Bills, last Friday we were sitting here together, RC, and we were talking about how dominant Buffalo looked. But the Kansas City Chiefs, the AFC has run through Kansas City for the last 5 or 6 years. Does it still after week 2 of this season?
No, it don't. I was going to say it did when we was talking this morning, but it doesn't. It still runs through Buffalo. And I'm not going to let week 2 change my mind on that. We haven't got an opportunity to see Buffalo, but the last time we did, they were on a Thursday night game in the arena of the reigning champs, and they absolutely went nuts on them. There was nothing the Los Angeles Rams could do to stop them or to score on them. And we have to give them another opportunity to play. Now, what I will say is the demise of the Kansas City Chiefs was grossly exaggerated. The demise of Patrick Mahomes and that he was going to forget how to throw footballs to people that weren't named Tyreek Hill, that is wrong. Patrick Mahomes has stepped up and showed us that he can play with any number of people on the outside and make them top-notch players as well. And defensively, they found a rush. They have linebackers that are running sideline to sideline, and the young core in the secondary, even without McDuffie last night, that showed up and made plays. The Kansas City Chiefs still have Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, a run game to me that is improving, and Andy Reid on the sideline. This is going to be a team that's going to be in it in the end, and I believe the Los Angeles Chargers will be too. But right now, the Buffalo Bills seem just a slight cut above the rest.
By the way, Bills at Chiefs, October 16th. Kansas City's upcoming schedule is unbelievable. They play the Colts, the Buccaneers, the Raiders, the Bills, the 49ers, and the Titans consecutively the next 5 or 6 weeks. So there's no easy spots here. Brooke Pryor, who's the team to beat in the AFC right now, Buffalo or Kansas City?
First of all, I'm exhausted hearing who the Chiefs have going up to play.
It's brutal.
I think it's the Chiefs. Look, whoever it is, it's going to be cold. The AFC North, the road that it runs through, it's going to be freezing. Pack your jacket. But I think the Chiefs, the way that they won, the defense, the way that they played, to me, they're dangerous because they're not just a home run team anymore. They can get you in any number of guys that Mahomes can throw to. I think just the volume of weapons he has, you don't know where it's going to come from. The pass rush from Chris Jones. Yes, the Bills were incredibly impressive. The sample size is smaller. I'm going with the Chiefs with that 2-0 start.
You see, Caesar Sportsbook still has Buffalo right now, the favorite. Kansas City next. The Chargers sitting there behind them. Ravens. And then Russell Wilson's Broncos off a very disappointing start on Monday night. Graziano, how do you see the top of the AFC right now? Buffalo or Kansas City?
I think if you stack up the rosters and throw the Chargers in there, because if you put Buffalo and the Chargers and the Chiefs, their rosters next to each other, you could make the case that the Chiefs look like the third best team of that group, right? Because, you know, those teams don't have any holes, and the Chiefs are working through getting contributions from their rookies, although good ones, like interceptions returned for touchdowns. But if you ask the Buffalo Bills, does the road to the AFC Championship still run through Kansas City? They're going to say yes, because they got knocked out by that team in the playoffs the last 2 years, and they know that's the next hurdle that they have to clear. They look great. They look like the better team, but they have yet to show it on the field when it matters. We can predict that they will, but until they do, I think the Chiefs, especially as good as they've looked in the first 2 games, have the right to believe it's still them.
Let me change the question up a little bit here. You've got the 2 awesome quarterbacks that we're talking about. We have Allen leading the Bills. You have Mahomes leading the Chiefs. If you're playing defense this week, which one keeps you up longer? Are you more worried about going up against Buffalo or Kansas City?
What kind of question is that? It's hard to stop a mobile quarterback. Both are mobile, but Josh Allen is a physical mobile quarterback. I said it before the season. My MVP pick this season was Josh Allen. My Super Bowl team is the Buffalo Bills. Listen, I love flip-flops, but the summer is over, and we're not putting flip-flops on. I'm not flip-flopping. I'm not going Kansas City. I'm not doing it. I'm going with the Buffalo Bills because they have Josh Allen, because they have such a physical demeanor. That physicality, we talked about it. We talked about Josh Allen. Should he take these hits? He's saying, of course I'm going to take these hits because I want this team to ride on my shoulders, and I'm a physical player. I'm throwing DBs around. Sorry, RC. And listen, I'm going with Buffalo.
It's all good.
It should be their time. It really should. They look good enough. But again, that's that one hurdle that they haven't been able to clear is Mahomes in the postseason.
RC, who keeps you up more late nights if you're getting set to play them this weekend? Right now, at this stage of their careers, in this moment in time, Josh Allen or Patrick Mahomes?
Listen, neither one of them, Greeny. I'm going to go my butt to sleep. I might as well get good rest if I ain't going to be able to stop them either way. What the hell I'm staying up for, Greeny? I ain't learning nothing at midnight that I couldn't learn at 10 o'clock about these two monsters. Honestly, when you look at both of them, I believe they both keep you up equally. I believe you're nervous anytime you step on the field against either of these two men because of their ability to create and make any throw off of any platform from anywhere on the field. I believe that Patrick Mahomes' mobility is just as important as Josh Allen's. It just looks different, right? We see Josh Allen finish so physically. We say, oh my gosh, his legs and what he can do physicality-wise makes him a step above Patrick Mahomes. But I don't believe that. Actually, I would enjoy playing Josh Allen because here's what I'd say. I'd say there's going to be a time in this game where Josh Allen is going to give me a chance to put pads on him and hurt him. Patrick Mahomes normally does not.
That's exactly right. Mahomes, he uses his escape. He escapes in the pocket, buys himself extra time, and all of that as well as anybody. He doesn't run for first downs the way Josh Allen does, so they do it a little bit differently. Here's the one advantage that I think that the Bills have, and Nico, with all due respect, the advantage they have are the Patriots and the Jets. I think that the Bills have such an easier path in their division. Well, they're going to be able to bank a couple of wins. I just read through Kansas City's schedule. It is a banged up Justin Herbert, so they're down by 3. They've got to kick an onside kick, and look how close they come to getting it, Nico.
Comes down to special teams. The onside kick, Kansas City recovers, and that's the game.
That ball is sitting there for just a moment, but by that much, the Chiefs recover. They hold on. They win. Mahomes does enough to get it done. Herbert, impressive, but not quite enough. Okay, Ryan Clark, I want to start. Before we get to the big picture, that feels to me like there's a big and a little picture story coming out of this game. We'll get to the big, the implications. But I want to start, RC, let's teach a little here. For the 99.9% of the people watching this show who did not play in the National Football League, Everett clearly wants to come out of the game before that play. He's tapping his helmet. Yes. He wants to come out. They don't sub him out because they don't want to let the defense substitute. And then it certainly does not appear to be kind, as though he gives maximum effort on the play. Is that on the player, or is that on the coaches for not getting him out when he asks out?
You know, it's on the players, and obviously the coach does have to try to substitute for a guy who really can't get it going, or a guy who has done a lot on a drive and doesn't have anything left in the gas tank. But if you're out there, you're out there. No one's watching this film and saying, oh, it's okay that Gerald Everett was tired. You give up a 99-yard interception that turns into a pick six because you don't fight. Everybody's tired. 2 minutes is absolutely miserable. Imagine mixing like Peloton, Hot Works, and any other F145, whatever you want to be, CrossFit, all in one thing. Add the stress of being on an NFL field in a big-time arena in a primetime game. It's hard as hell to keep going, but you have to fight for your quarterback who's driven you down to that point. And I understand that Gerald Everett's had a great 2 weeks to start his Los Angeles Charger career, but this play is going to haunt him, and it should. You have to give all the effort you can possibly muster in that situation to at least break the football up and do what you're supposed to do. You would like the coaches to be able to get him out, but strategically it was smarter to keep him on the field, and that's on Gerald Everett to find a way to make a play.
Again, to make sure that everyone watching understands, if the Chargers don't substitute, then the Chiefs don't get to substitute. If the Chargers take him off the field, then they have to pause and let Kansas City make their defensive adjustments there. So that's the thinking behind why it doesn't happen. Sometimes it's those little things that decide games that could have enormous ramifications as we go down the line. So Dan Graziano, let's talk about that. Does it appear through 2 weeks as though the reports of the demise of Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs were greatly exaggerated?
Yes. I think Bart Scott sat here and talked about them not making the playoffs. So I hope like some of that crazy doesn't rub off on me in this chair. But look, I mean, they still have Andy Reid. They still have Patrick Mahomes. And I mean, I go back to my training camp visit to the Chiefs and talking to Mahomes about how it's going to be different this year. And he said, it's going to be more on me to make sure I go through the right reads as opposed to just looking and seeing, oh, Tyreek Hill's got a matchup that he can win. I'll throw it to him. So you see what Mahomes is doing, and through two games, which they played in the span of 5 days, it works out that way. Now, I will say this. It looks to me like more is going to be asked of Mahomes than ever before by the Kansas City Chiefs because they don't have a number one receiver. They don't seem to have a number one running back. He's going to have to make sure all the pieces work together. Through 2 games, he's been up for it.
A lot of that seems to come back, and you made this point in our meeting this morning, to something he said before the season began, sort of apologizing to people who are expecting those kind of numbers.
Exactly. He apologized to those fantasy guys like, man, sorry if you have any of our guys because you're not going to know who we're going to. And to that point, Mahomes has completed multiple passes to 8 different receivers, tied for most in a game in the Mahomes era. That was last night. Through 2 games, 11 different Chiefs have caught a pass, 6 different have caught a touchdown. If I'm looking at that, and I'm a fantasy gal sometimes, I'm not starting anybody on that team because it's so spread out. But this is what Mahomes said that he was going to do. He does not have Tyreek Hill as a crutch to just throw it up. He still has Travis Kelce, but I think that this is making him play smarter, distribute the ball more evenly, and that makes them even more dangerous as an offense.
With Mahomes as the central piece of the conversation, Ninko, as we look at him